Hi, Shalini. My name is Georgie. First of all, I have to thank you for finding time. I'm a co-host at Diesel Stack. We try and give a platform and a space for founders such as yourself to put yourself out there, get some PR, maybe even at least find an investor from a platform like us, because we are hoping that in the long run, investors would find this as a platform for them to visit and really look at startups that are promising for tomorrow. And we only focus on early stage founders. And we thought your idea was quite brilliant that we had to interview you and put you out there in a blog article and a couple of other social media platforms that we use. So yeah, can you tell me a little bit about yourself before we move into the whole idea and how you came up with it?
Who is Shalini? Shalini is just another person on this earth. There is something about Shalini. Shalini reads impossible as I am possible. And I think I've taken the most toughest task to build what I'm building with andwemet. And yeah, so that's about Shalini, who always sees a light, end of a tunnel. Yeah, that's me.
What is your history like? Were you born and brought up here in India?
Absolutely. I was born. My father was in the armed forces. My mother was a homemaker and actually the CEO of the house. Have a younger brother. Very attached to both sides of my extended family. I don't know where to call myself from because while growing up, I lived in a new town, city every 2 to 3 years. So when people ask me, where are you from? Whichever city I am in at that time, I say I'm from that city because I really don't know where to identify myself from. I am a friend's friend and usually a happy person, mostly.
I think I can agree with that 100%. Uh, so can you now tell me what is the platform that you're building? What is Anvi? Because we have already discussed this, and I'm so glad I met you because I worked on a dating app in 2021. I failed and I gave up. I shut shop 2023 October, and you're still running it. How has the journey been for you? Can you tell me everything you can about and we met your journey?
Okay, so firstly, congratulations for, building what you did. And I think it's not about failing. I think it's about staying at it. That's how I look at it. And that's what I did with andwemet. So the seed to build andwemet, well, or to build something this like this, I think started when I was end of my teens, when I was still in college, and my mother's focus was only one that, I need to get married. That was her focus. So I was actually shown in a very traditional setup. I was introduced to boys' parents, not even the boys. So I was introduced to boys' parents from the age of 19 to the age of 26. And this was a very interesting experience because I honestly was rejected or negated by all of them. And the reason, it was a common reason, honest, it was a common reason. And the reason was ladki kali hai, the girl's dark in complexion. I never, firstly, I didn't even know what marriage is. I was agreeing to it because I was told, like, from growing up years, there were always discussions at home that you're going to get, you finish your college, you do. This is what I was told, that you need to be financially independent. And it was decided I wanted to be a teacher. So it was decided I'll be a teacher. And then as I'm studying, they should find somebody for me. But life had, I think, something else written for me. When this whole process of showing myself to the boys stopped, I think, of course, it really hit my self-esteem because I never understood what is the complexion got to do with um I'm young and I never thought I was not attractive, but I was made to feel not attractive. And I never understood what has complexion got to do when it comes to finding a partner. And this question, plus getting back my own self confidence to feel good about myself, it took me about 10 years. And I had decided that I'm not I did a lot of introspection on my own. I did a lot of asking of questions, reading, all on my own to understand what is a relationship, and that was one. And second is how to feel good about myself. And like I said, this whole thing took me about 8 to 9 years. And during this time, I was in different parts of the world, and then I come to Bangalore. I moved to Bangalore in my mid 30s. I finish my first half marathon, and then I'm 37 by now, and I go and tell my mother that I'm ready. Why don't you help me find someone? And in her own way, that as if like as though I want to like at 37 is when you want to find someone. And here I was feeling really good about myself, about life, about everything. And that's when the second time it occurred to me about matchmaking. I wanted to build this around that time, but I was very, very scared of building a product because it was all about apps, and I don't come from a technical background. So I was very, very nervous. So this whole process actually took me about 5 6 years to decide that okay, now I'm ready. Whilst I launched and we met in end of 2019, early 2020, I wasn't happy with the whole process of how it got launched. Also, in this journey of mine, I met wrong business partners. I met, and it was like I told you, the tech, I wasn't happy with the way the tech was coming around. So all of this happened. And last year, June 2024, is when I was actually not sure of taking it ahead. Like yourself, I felt that this is not happening. I wasn't happy with what I'm building. And so I wasn't happy with this whole thing. And I was very close to shutting it down. I mean, I was actually writing a post for LinkedIn to shut it down. I was scrolling on my phone and I see something called as communities on WhatsApp. I learn a little more about it. I get up, learn a little more. I call a team member and I said, hey, let's just start a community. July 2025 is when we started the community with just a post on LinkedIn. And today we are in August 2025, and we have little over 7,000 singles in the community. And we met is for singles 28, 29, 30 and above. Those singles who are looking for their person, looking for a committed relationship. So be it marriage, be it live-in, or companionship. Define companionship as, a committed relationship, but where the individuals decide to live under two separate roofs. So since July 2024 to now August 2025, and we've had 146 singles who have found their partner in the community. So yeah, so the only difference is I didn't shut it down. I continued at it. It's been a year, a lot of learning in this last 1 year. And yeah, so that's where I am.
That's quite brilliant. Are you a tech founder?
I am not a tech founder. No, not at all. No.
So, do you have some advice? So, I was never a founder either. So, I understand the kind of problems that you may have faced. But do you mind telling me what was that journey like being a non-tech founder, finding a tech co-founder? Is there something that maybe you can help advise another founder out there?
I think my learning has been not to get so for those who are not tech founders, but you have a business idea, what I would say is don't rely so much on tech. See if you can do it without tech, right? And I mean, so because no idea is 100% dependent. Because if you're a non-tech founder, you're definitely not creating a tech, right? So don't rely so much on tech, because without the knowledge of, unless you look for a co-founder. So, looking for a co-founder is also like dating, right? Because it's a business relationship, a business committed relationship, that what you're looking at. And to find the right person, I was pretty exhausted. So but then I had two choices: either give up tech, or just like I had give up tech and think of an alternate way of building andwemet. Or it's just, I mean, with tech or building the apps was not working for me. So just give up andwemet. And I am pretty sure that I am not ready to give up andwemet yet.
Perfect. Can you, so you've forgone tech, right? Like you're not building an application anymore. I don't know if it's on a web app platform. You
We
told
are
me that
building,
it's on a WhatsApp community.
yes, we are building andwemet on WhatsApp. Yes.
So let's assume that I'm a, okay, I usually say 10-year-old to try and make it simpler, but I think I should say an 18-year-old who wants to get into the dating space. I'm looking for a committed relationship. So in simple terms, can you tell me how andwemet works and how I could find a partner through it?
Okay, so I will just change the age group here because I think at 18 you're still not sure. So I would not recommend 18-year-olds to look for a committed relationship. Let them look for a relationship which may end up in a commitment maybe 5 to 10 years later. But let's just say let's look at like 28, 29 or a 30-year-old looking for us is searching for their special someone. So they will come on to they will come on to the currently it's they'll come on to the andwemet website where we have something called as joint community. They will fill in a form. We have a team that we have our own checks and balances on who to invite to the community. So if they get invited to the community, they will be part of. So we have three WhatsApp windows. One is the support, one is the community itself. Actually, I did give you a preview where we host a lot of discussions. And the third is we have a bot that's built in the community, but it's in another. So where all the details that you have filled in, all the profile details, our services on how you can search others, everything is in that bot. So everything is in WhatsApp. But your first step is to get invited to the community.
So the vetting process that you have is quite stringent, is what you're saying.
Yes, we have our checks and balances, and yes, we keep it pretty stringent.
Perfect.
So like I said, we in fact we have only what we are doing is not more than 3 to 4 people in a day, and we have about 45 to 50 people signing up in a day, of which we invite 3 to 4 or maybe a few days none.
Got it. Now, so talking about the checks and balances, right? So one thing I've realized working in the space is that the biggest amount of complaints for women is the fact that there are too many creeps out there. For men, it's the problem of I'm not getting enough matches. So how do you solve these two problems and how do you bring them together?
So on andwemet, it's it's equally distributed. Like I'm just saying that it's about who can ask the other person for an introduction, right? So you're talking about women calling, getting creeps. So I don't know how you define creeps, but like I said, nobody can connect with anyone in the community without paying, right? So it's all done very consciously. So if I want to connect with you on andwemet, I can, and you connect via andwemet, but there is a little investment, upfront investment that I need to make to connect with you. And if I am doing it callously, I'm not going to do it. So on andwemet, the couple of things, we've cut down ghosting to a large extent. Like I said, so introductions are made in a very mature way between two people, but we also talk a lot about in the community on how to date, because I do feel, unfortunately, and maybe we can talk about that. Is it because, so like, are you reaching out to the wrong person? Because it's very easy to give labels to others, right? So yeah, so I mean, we do talk about how to date, steps and measurements on what to do when you start dating, how to not go overboard. I talk about texting for less than 5 minutes till you don't meet in real life. I talk about also even the video call. Instead of giving zillions of photographs of yours, including somebody onto your social media handles, just get onto a video call, see the person or how they are. Again, so none of your interactions, we talk about not to get emotionally invested into the prospect till you don't meet in person few times. People who follow it have been successful. People who do not, even on andwemet, are burnt out. And there are all kinds of people. You got to be careful and sensible yourself. So we don't take any onus for somebody, but we definitely give guidelines on how to date and how to keep yourself safe.
Got it. So that was my next question supposed to be around. So I recently watched a movie. I forgot what it's called. It's Dakota Johnson. And in this movie, there's a scene where she's a matchmaker, and one of the dates that she sets up this girl, lady with, uh, he ends up assaulting her. And then the lady at the end of it blames Dakota for what has happened because they have not done their checks and balances in advance about the uh, let's say like legally if he has history of doing such things, right? Now, how do you tackle that problem? So when you talk about video calls, like
Very interesting.
uh, it is quite risky because what if, I mean, I'm a man, I'm quite familiar with how women around me complain about them getting unsolicited pictures and how ideally some men are creepy, right? Or most. Uh, Now, my question is, what if something like that happens? Do you give men and women the education in advance and then try and tell them that, listen, this is a possible scenario. Please be aware. Or how do you go about that?
So, firstly, let me get you back to the age group that we are interacting with. We are interacting with people who are 28, 29, 30, and above. These are those who have already, have life experience, and we hope that they are sensible about how they interact when they are looking for someone, right? Uh, we cannot guarantee anybody's personality, be it a man or a woman who may act strange, right? In fact, we've not had an assault case, but we've had somebody who did say that. Uh, so she did tell us that on the first date he tried kissing her, right? And when we got into the depth, we tried to ask her more. So this is what she did. All right. She's in her late 30s. She this gentleman picked her from her home. They went out for dinner. They had alcohol. This is the first time they're meeting. All right. Prior to that, they've already had long, few hours calls where she's talked everything about herself. All right. They've gone out for dinner. They've had alcohol. Now it's late at night. And he has offered to take her in his car to drop her home. Now, in this scenario, you tell me who has to be blamed? I'm asking you. You're meeting this for the first time. Who's to be blamed in this?
So the thing is, I do believe that men are the problem.
No,
All I'm saying is,
no, let me
yeah,
stop you here. It's not, no. It's she who has done this. She should have she should have gone, I mean, not met for a dinner. She could have met during daytime. Secondly, she should have not given where she lives and her living condition, that she lives alone, and her address. She could have, if she didn't want to drive, she could have taken an Uber and gone there. Thirdly, why have alcohol in the first interaction? Why are you trying to feel very cool without even knowing the person? And then after that, you've asked this gentleman to drop you home. Why all of this? This is being silly. This is completely suicidal, actually, if you ask me. Right? So
but I have the only reason I'm stopping you right there is because I think the original problem is the fact that Indians do not know how to date. I completely agree with that. So the same situation, right? If you are in a European country or a country abroad, it's completely fine to like go out with another person, be it whatever gender.
no, I'm sorry. I'm
Uh,
sorry. I'm going to stop you here again. Irrespective of where you are in the world, this person is a stranger you have met online. irrespective, your safety is in your hands. And here you are a grown up, hopefully, mature, hopefully. You're a professional doing well from a really good school. So your safety, be it a man or a woman, your safety is in your hands. We've also had a scenario here where this gentleman went out and this lady asked for some money and he gives her some money. And then he tells us it's not our fault. And we met, it's not community doesn't hold it to it. You are 35 years old. This gentleman's 35. I actually spoke to him and I said, why did, no, she really needed money. And we'd already met 4 times. I said, how did you meet? They met over coffee and over lunches. That's half an hour meeting and 45 minutes meeting. Relationships don't form like this, especially at this age group. Right? So you have to be conscious. And what we talk about is please do not invest emotionally till you two have decided to be exclusive. And when you decide to be exclusive, which means that you're not going to be meeting other prospects. And now when you've decided to be exclusive, you're decided to introduce each other to your respective social circle. So that's what we talk about. I also say, actually, very strictly on andwemet, we literally request our community members to your first in-person meeting, actually the first 3 to 4 in-person meetings, let it be over an activity versus lunch, dinner, coffee, alcohol, anything. An activity could be just going for a walk. If you are in a city in the north, walk will be difficult. Go to a museum. Do anything but sit and have a meal. Because let these interactions have more observation than conversation. Secondly, everybody, however confident you are stressed and you want to put out your best. All right. So, and you really don't know how to start and where to start. But if you're doing an activity together, then you start talking about that and then you take it from there. It eases in the process. So, and we talk about lunches and dinners to wait till the 5th or the 6th date. And we also talk about to both men and women that if you are doing anything that requires payment, please make sure that it is split between the two. Take no favors. You are not even sure if this person is going to be a person. So by the time you're on the 5th person, you are exhausted. Talking about your life history and they say, oh my God, dating is tough. Dating is not tough. You are making it tough. Sorry, I get really coming back to safety. Safety is in the individual's hand, the man's hand, the woman's hand who's going out to meet a stranger, a prospect. So doing that at night, you decide. So it's, I would say, irrespective of the country you are in. I mean, there is no guarantee that this, what guarantee are you telling me that the stranger I meet overseas will not assault me?
All I
So
meant was statistically the possibilities are lower because I think people know how to date there, at least respect space and okay.
it's when you're in a hurry to find someone, we make mistakes. And by the time, unfortunately, for women, the time, in our societal structure, there's a lot of pressure on women the moment they turn 30 and beyond to find someone. And that's why so many divorces are happening because there's so much of pressure by 28 and 29. Okay. And the next person who comes, you say yes. In fact, on andwemet, what we've heard from our members is that earlier they felt they were alone, and they're so glad to see that there's so many singles like them, who haven't found their person, and then they see hope in this. But safety is in your own hands. I will request this again and again. Trust is built over time. Sometimes it takes months and sometimes years. How can you trust from day one? You cannot. And you should not.
Shalini, you have lived through this journey for I think what for the last 5, 6 years. You've been building andwemet. Now you have a community for andwemet, and you have 7,000, let's say, community
Community
strong.
members.
Yeah. Now, my question is, what according to you is the ideal dating situation? Let's say, for example, I want to meet someone. I'm in a space where I want to meet someone for a committed relationship, and I start my journey today. How long should it take me? How should it go about in your ideal setting? How should it be? Like, should the first date, when should the first date happen? Could you take me through that journey?
I would say that if you're starting off now and you're looking for, you're searching for a long term partner, it should take you 180 days or 6 months to find your person. And I'll just break down the process. It starts with self reflection. It starts with actually taking time out and writing down who you are as a person. Okay. So, what are your own strengths and weaknesses? It starts with that. Okay. And strengths and weaknesses when it comes to looking for someone, and when it comes to, because what we are doing is just helping you find that person. After finding, you're hopefully going to live with this person for the next 50, 70 years, right? So that's why this self reflection is very important. Once you've done that, I highly, highly urge singles on AnviMet or otherwise to decide on your not more than 3 must haves or non negotiables. It's very, very different from pet peeves. So you may say, I don't like somebody who doesn't have table manners. That's a pet peeve. Table manners can be taught, right? I mean, like, if you say, I don't like somebody bald, now that's totally your call. But then you've got to really think about it. Are you looking for a good person? Are you looking for someone who respects you, who lets you be who is? Are you looking for someone who you are compatible with with regards to personality, with regards to finance, with regards to your sex drive? Is that what you're looking at? What are you looking at? Let your friends and family know. Let them know about your not. It could be you may not want to get married. You may want to live in. It may be one of your non negotiable, could be you don't want to have children. You're 100% sure about that, right? So have those non negotiables in place. Let your family, friends know about it. Look at a dating community, a service, an app which you think you can relate to. Try and not sign up on more than 2 apps, is what I would say. Don't invest, invest only an hour a day on these apps or the community, even AnviMet. I say 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening. Next is, don't wait to be searched. You know who you are looking for. And also remember, you are one of thousands of singles. How do you think you will be searched? You are like a needle in the haystack. However, if you search, you will know what you want. So also remember, you know, people don't want to spend money, all right, for to get introduced, but this is an investment that they are making in themselves. So don't look for something free. We know ourselves, there's nothing free. Also, don't look at dating as instant coffee that you just sit in water and it gets mixed. No, it takes time. It brews. It takes times to build trust. Now, once you're sure about all this, you've now started searching. You've met someone who you're curious to know about. The kind of introductory message, I'm going really basic. The kind of introductory message that you send over there. I read messages that say, we will be a great pair. Don't assume. Be curious about the person. And also in those messages, don't talk about who you are, which school you've graduated from. No, nothing like that. If you want a response, try and be curious about the person. And then let's say you connect. Once you've connected, texting, please tell the other person, even if you enjoy and thrive on texting, please tell the other person that I will keep texting to a minimum till we don't meet. Because what's going to happen is if you're going to text for hours, you're going to talk for hours, and emotional connection is created. And then when you meet, you will get disappointed. So if you keep to what I am recommending, you will not have dating fatigue. Now, even, we are curious, okay? We will be curious on, hey, why didn't your earlier relationship work out? But don't go into depth. Please, I mean, if somebody is divorced, they're divorced for a reason. If somebody's earlier relationship didn't work out, it didn't work out. Why do you want to go into the depth? Because you really don't even know if this is your prospect partner. So if you want to know a little more about the person, ask what did they learn from their past relationship. All right. If somebody says, I've not been in any relationship, don't mock them. Try and be curious on why did that happen? Learn, be curious about each other. Be curious, play, I always say play, two truth, one lie. I mean, that's my standard. I tell everybody you will get to know so much about each other. So just keep it very playway over, and then try and don't text for long. You want to see what the person looks like, because photographs do not speak the truth, because there's filter and all of that. We've seen it on andwemet. People don't share their updated photographs. Get onto a video call. Again, that video call, don't keep it for more than, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes, and keep it very light. It could be something as light as, hey, what do you think? How do I look? Right? And it's just an icebreaker. All right. Or pick up something from what they've written or told you about. And then if you think you have liked, because now in a video, you've heard them talk, you've seen what they look like, ask to meet. My sincere request is, even if you don't like the way they look, meet them. You are looking for someone long term. Look at their value system, look at who they are as people. Of course, attraction, of course, counts. I am not denying it. Right? So, and then when you meet, like I said, when you meet, please meet over an activity, split the cost. Again, I would actually say your first few meetings, not more than 20-30 minutes. So even if you're going for a walk, meet, have a chat, go. And then maybe if you've liked that interaction, meet again. So if you do this, and then slowly, you're getting to know each other, you cannot you can't meet for weeks together. I mean, you got to meet every week if you're meeting each other. And if it's not working out, you stop it. Just don't add people onto your social media. Block the person if you don't want to engage with that person. Don't even go with this hope that no, this person will change. So coming back to, I also talked initially I talked about making your non-negotiables or your must-haves. So they cannot, once you start talking to the person, you can't say, oh, but I wanted this also. Your must-haves cannot change for 1 year, because you're changing as a person. So for 1 year, they cannot change. However, they can get reduced. So let's just say that if you say that I don't want somebody bald, or I didn't want somebody in a different city, okay, you've met this person, you're connecting so well, you can reduce your must-haves, but you cannot increase it. So if you actually do this, I'm pretty sure you will find your person in 180 days, and you cannot stop. I mean, even there will be exhaustions, because you will need to meet a lot of people to find your person. So you cannot stop midway and say, I am done, I am exhausted. Of course, there'll be exhaustion, but continue. That's my
Got
answer.
it. One thing I really resonated with the fact was that when you said do not meet someone for more than 30 minutes. So when I go on dates, I specifically tell the person that, listen, let's not meet, let's just meet for a coffee instead of a dinner, because for a coffee, it's a shorter date. And if I am boring, or if you're boring, or if we do not like each other, we can always call it an exit. So it gives us both an
So here I
opportunity.
would, so again, boring is, it's quite nerve wracking, right?
Yeah.
And also, not everybody is confident. Okay. And then you can have somebody who will call themselves introverts. So I don't know how, so that's what I'm saying. So why even get to that stage of boring? So if you're doing, next time, if you're looking out for someone and you go out on a date, do me a favor. try doing it over an activity than a coffee also.
Fair
So
enough.
you see the difference. That whole boring concept only will not come. And even you, both sides would be less nervous because now you're not sitting in front of each other, okay, where the coffee is also gone cold. You've spent $500 for a coffee and you're not even enjoying your coffee. What's the point?
Fair
So,
enough.
yeah,
Uh, so my next question is, you said something about everybody puts up I mean, you didn't call it a facade, but I would personally call it a facade where we try and put our best version of ourselves out there with the person that we are meeting, right? And there's also the problem that even if you know someone for like a year or two, maybe you did not get a complete picture of what they're like. So how would you advise someone to find out or figure out this is what their true personality is like?
you need to just observe. It's not, see, when you meet someone the first time, both sides are nervous, okay? It is in time. You've got to see, okay, so now you're talking about how do you know if this is the right person? I mean, would I like to know this person, right? It doesn't take, can actually take lifetime to know your person because you are changing and the person's changing. But let me come back to dating, okay? If you realize that you are the one who's always making plans to meet and the other person is not contributing in that, you should actually step back and rethink. If you see that, plans are made and this person, your prospect date is forever canceling and not even suggesting another alternate time, you should think about it if this is happening often. The third is that whenever they are available, they ask to meet you. And we've had this scenario on in And We Met where this girl, whenever she was low, okay, and she was low at work or personal thing, she was talking to this gentleman and she's given him full story of I like you, our parents should meet, all of that. This is 5 months in, but was only talking to him when she was low. And he'd actually signed up for a relationship guidance interaction because he was very confused 5 months into it. And she would, and then when we asked that when is it that she would talk to him, because then he would go pick her up from work, take her out, make her feel good. So if you feel that you're becoming somebody's therapist, you know that this is not the person for you, right? So observe over here. You need to actually be very conscious and observe. And when I say observe, I'm saying observe in totality and not what's going wrong. Because when I speak to singles and I ask them, what happened when you met? You were so excited to meet. No, but I was only focusing on what's not right with the person. So overthinking, that's a separate thing. So stop overthinking. If you're unsure, ask the person to explain it to you. You are like, and I'm telling you, the people who even come for relationship guidance are those who are they are from the named school, so they are doing very well professionally. They have reached their heights even in their 30s and 40s. But when it comes to dating, somehow they just don't put their head into it, and they get very nervous and they're very scared. And then conversations with us, and there are loads. Actually, I did tell you that 146 singles have found their person, of which most of them have taken a session or more with us on even understanding on how to date. So you got
Brilliant.
to be very conscious. You got to be, let's just say, how do you trust that that person is not even married, right? So I tell people, I say, do a video call on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. All right. So to make sure that, are they, if they say that they live alone or they live with parents, are they actually doing that? And I'm talking about both genders here, not just the men, even women.
Can you tell me what are your thoughts on the increasing number of divorce cases here in India?
Divorces are happening across all age groups today. There are marriages, and it's only going to increase. And divorce happens for several reasons beside abuse: interference from family and friends, lack of compatibility, be it personality, be it sexual, be it financial, lack of emotional maturity, not even understanding what to expect from a relationship. All these are reasons for a divorce. And given that our families, for those who are not mature and enter a relationship, will get divorced. But my only request, or will have a breakup, my only request is that people should start viewing divorce as a situation and not as a label that's going to be stuck to them for as long as they live.
Now, moving on to the next segment, I want to talk about numbers in your operations and your marketing, right? So, can you tell me how do you market and do you met? Do you run social media advertisements? Is it word of mouth? How does it work for you?
It's a bit of all. We have a very small budget for ads that we run on social media, primarily Instagram. But it has been, we do a lot of content marketing through our blogs, through our, we create content on YouTube. And then it is word of mouth. Our community members are recommending their friends and family. Yeah, and it's growing word of mouth, and that's how we plan to keep it for now.
And in terms of operations, how does it work? How big is your team? Do you take a whole lot of the workload or are you able to delegate it?
We are a team of 4 people. Uh, we are where so I look after ideation. That's what I'm looking after. There is somebody who looks after social media, and then I, along with 2 more, sit on the support. We have a support WhatsApp, so that's how we work. We're a very small team.
Brilliant. And you also mentioned something about the advisory role that you play, right? Is that you yourself who does these sessions for
On relationship guidance, yes.
Perfect? So the relationship guidance is carried out by you, or do you have a separate counselors
No,
for that?
no, we don't have so many. So currently, it's just me.
Got it. And how does this work, like the relationship guidance? Can you give me like an interesting approach that you had without, keeping it really anonymous?
No,
How
no,
it would have
not an
really helped
informal
someone.
and talk. So, and there are many who are underconfident or fear dating. That's what the whole topic is around. Or if they have met someone, how should they engage or interact? There are many people who don't know how to do that either. So those are the topics that, I mean, these are the reasons why people come and talk to us. Or it could also be something like they have met so and so, and their parents don't approve of the person because either she's older, or one of them is divorced, or he's earning less than her. So how to handle such a situation? So we have things like this. I mean, that's what people come and talk to us about.
Brilliant. So in terms of numbers, so I already understand that you have 7,000 community members strong. You have already match made 146 singles. How much do you charge people for this? Like, what are the costs for, let's say, I am on your platform and I'm asking you, Shalini, listen, I'm looking for a partner. How does this work? How much will I have to shell out for this, let's say, for the next 6 months?
What I recommend people that keep a budget of 1 lakh to 2 lakhs for your search for 6 months. That's what I recommend people, because this would include, we always recommend take a short holiday. This includes all of that. So I'm saying, from finding your person to finding a date, to finding your partner, we recommend asking people to keep aside 1 lakh to 2 lakhs. As far as what andwemet charges, compared to other apps, we are extremely affordable. And right now, I don't want to give out a pricing because we are reviewing our pricing, and currently it's very affordable.
Brilliant. And the guidance sessions, how much does those cost?
That's up out on the web, so one can go take a look at it.
Fair enough. And can you tell me a little bit more about your growth trajectory over the last, I think the community you built it about a year and a half ago. Is that right?
A year, just a year back.
Just a year back. So how did you get to the 7,000? What's your month-on-month growth rate?
So actually very interesting. I haven't even looked into that, but what we are looking at, how many we are actually focusing. No, I'm not looking at people, how we are growing by people, but we are focusing on how many matches are being made month on month. So we're focusing more on that. But I'm being very honest here. I'm surprised myself how people are finding us and are being wanting to be a part of the community. So it's a very humbling. In fact, just today, somebody had asked me that I'm seeing a lot of posts of yours on LinkedIn, and I'm seeing pairs being formed, and and this person knew that I was struggling, and she asked me how do I feel, and I just said that I feel very. I'm happy, I'm excited, but I also feel very humbled. So, so it depends. Like, again, coming for people joining in, we could have, there could be a month where about 200, 300 people join in. The next month could be, uh, maybe 100. So it depends on, like I said, that we are actually focusing more on quality than on quantity.
Got it. I had one more question before we move on to the future of what andwemet is about. Can you tell me what are the questions that you ask on your platform? Because what I've noticed is that the traditional matrimonials, they ask you questions about your gender, your religion, your sexuality, your dietary preferences. And I think it's a little bit more, let's say, not understanding the person on a more personal level. However, I've seen dating apps like Hinge and Bumble ask questions like, what do you want to do on a first date? Or what is a red flag that you have that people have made you aware of? So these are deep questions, right? So is there something on And We Met where we discuss those things on a more deeper level?
So to sign up on Anvimed, actually one can go on to the website and look at the kind of questions what we ask. We talk about, tell us about your growing up years, how do you define privilege, besides other factors. But what we do, we have, like I said, we have a community where we host several discussions, and we are trying to make it an emotionally intelligent space. That's what we're doing. And these discussions come from either our interactions with our community members. They can send us questions that, hey, can you ask questions around topics that are initiated by them. And our discussions are mostly around dating and what it takes to enjoy a date. So that's what we talk about, where people discuss and share their views. So that's what we do on Anvimet.
Brilliant.
I call Anvimet as a as an emotionally intelligent space rather than just another dating app.
Got it.
And I'd also
Uh,
like to also share, because people were not sharing their updated photographs. So let's say if I am 32 or I'm 33, I don't know, I'm not sharing my photograph as of today. And that was leading to a lot of heartburn. So I just said, let's stop photographs. So we have no photographs. What we are looking to do is introduce few seconds video, and we are working on that to make sure that it's not shareable and there's security and privacy, and that's taking a lot of time because we are building it on WhatsApp. But all the introductions that are happening on Anvimet currently, all the matches that have been made on Anvimet, actually, I never asked that you met without photographs. How was it? I think I should reach out to some of them and ask. But these are all without photographs. So I just wanted to bring this up because if somebody is looking, we will be launching the video. It could take a couple of weeks more. But if you're looking for something immediately, just know that there are no photographs on Anvimet.
so what's the future for And We Met? Like a year, you've already achieved so much in a year. In the next 1 year, what's going to happen?
haven't achieved. There's so much more to achieve. But I think, I would just say that I want to keep andwemet as an emotionally intelligent space. I do want to, at some point have micro communities, not decided what, but that's there at the back of our mind. I want andwemet, like instead of just matches made here, want it to be viewed as a space, where we measure success, like in confidence restored and burnout reduced when it comes to searching for your person. So, in one line, if I have to tell you, I'm going to say, I want the future of andwemet is to be a safe, intentional, and proudly Indian space where singles in their 30s and beyond will love and self trust.
Beautiful. Uh, I have one final question. Would you describe yourself as the Seema auntie of India?
No, I'm not even close to Seema auntie. More power to the Seema aunties and the Shadis and the Jeevan Sathis of the world. No, no. I am someone who believes that the right person in your life can change your life for the better. And I have seen it and I have experienced it, and it just makes living much more fun. And so I'm trying to build a space where we are trying, like I said, an emotionally intelligent space where we are getting singles to come, interact, meet, and find their person and call it out as and we met.
Awesome. I have to say, I really love the name because, uh, you know, a good story always ends up with, and that's how we met, right? So, like, and we met is a beautiful name. Uh, and yeah, I have to thank you so much for your time because this is a space that I'm very much, how do I say it? I don't want to say aware of, but I do research about quite a lot because from 2021, I've been reading up about dating space and I've been building things around it. Unfortunately, it did not work for me. I'm so glad it works for you. And I really have to thank you so much for your time. This was very insightful for me.
Thank you so much for having me over.